All right. Hello, Mr. Blankenship. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. How are you doing?
I'm just doing great.
Good.
Fantastic.
There you go. To start off with, could you give us your full name?
R Blankenship,
Mm-hmm.
Soper, Oklahoma, box 147, area code 74759,
All right. Your birthday and where you were born?
92635 in Rotan, Texas.
Rotan, Texas. Now, what part of Texas is that?
Kind of the central.
Okay.
It's
So,
I'd call it the central part.
in the hill country?
No, it's farming. Well, it used to be farming country.
Okay.
That's how come my dad and mother out there. I think they met. Well, they had met before, but they may be married out there.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Right.
And but anyway, they had me at Rotan, Texas,
Okay.
and we come back to Oklahoma then when I was a year older,
Okay.
give or take.
So now, and when you came back, did y'all come to Soper?
We come to Soper,
Okay.
and we was farmers
Right.
and sharecroppers or whatever you want to call us.
Yep.
And we didn't have no money, but we had plenty to eat. That was all we had.
That's what counts.
My dad borrowed, I've heard him talk about borrowing $50 to live the year with and buy the seed and stuff to raise a crop on. $50. And that ain't much money.
No.
But we had cows to milk and chickens, and we had all the milk and butter and everything. In fact, we sold cream later. Now when we first, I guess I was probably around 8 years old, and we had about 10 cows that we milked morning and night by hand.
Yeah.
And separated the cream with an old hand crank separator. And carried the cream right up here to Odie Cooper. He had a store here in town.
Right.
And he bought that cream. The second year, I guess, we was here. I kind of forget dates sometimes, but maybe the second year we was here, we moved out by Atlas out here.
Okay.
And my dad and I would I was big enough to have a horse. I was 5 or 6 years old.
Right.
And we'd saddle our horses and tie that cans of cream on them, and here we'd come to Soper and we'd trade that or sell it and buy flour and sugar and things that we have, soda and salt and staples like that.
Yes.
Take and put them on them horses and go ride back out to Atlas, And the year when I was turned 6, I was riding a horse from where we lived 3 miles to school at the Atlas schoolhouse, and I'd ride that horse up there and tie it up to the fence out there, and we'd have school all day, and then we'd turn around and I'd get on that horse and I'd ride back home. And I'd leave it saddled. I wouldn't unsaddle it. I'd just loosen the girth, and I was big enough that I could tighten the girth myself.
Right.
And I'd tighten that girth and climb on him, and here we'd go home. And first time I ever played hooky from school, there was a branch about quarter of a mile of the schoolhouse there. And there was about 6 or 8 of us kids went down on that branch and played all. It was Halloween, or I don't know. I think Halloween, but anyway, it was some holiday. And we played hooky and played around down. We went to school that morning, and at noon, we left and went down there and played all evening. And I left my horse tied up at school. Well, after school, when the bell rang, I went up there and met it was just it was two teachers, a man and his wife, his 2-room schoolhouse. And I met him out there in the yard and spoke to him and everything. He was just as nice as you please. I went back and told those other kids, I said, we got made, he's not even mad at us. Well, the next morning we went to school and nothing happened. It was just like it was everything perfect. And when recess time come, he just called everybody's name that was that played hooky, called all of our names off and said, y'all keep your seats. Let the rest of the kids go outside, and told us, said, y'all will stay in till you make up the hours that you was gone yesterday afternoon, and we'd have to stay in every recess and noontime and everything else. We got just time enough to go to the bathroom and eat lunch and stuff like that. And we'd have to go back and stay in the whole forever. I don't know, but it was just kids.
Oh yeah,
just kids.
So what were your parents' names?
Pat and Lois.
Okay.
My mother's name was Mattie Lois Newton Blankenship. My dad's true name was William Green Blankenship. He always signed papers and stuff like that as WG, and everybody called him Pat. And I don't know where all them names come in. Where he got them all.
That happened back then. I had a great uncle. Everybody just called him Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Well, there was an old doctor stayed with my grandparents, and that's all they called him was Doc. And I never did. Dr. Bills was his name.
Okay.
It hit me, but
yeah.
Dr. Bills was his name, but he didn't have we always had quite a bit of stock.
Right.
Horses and mules and farming equipment, and we farmed. Bought the first John Deere the first Farmall tractor, H Farmall, that come into this country. Right?
Okay.
And my dad and my granddad paid for it, breaking up ground in the spring for $3 an acre.
Huh.
And they done it. Of course, I don't know, the tractor probably didn't cost over $1,000, $1,200 or something.
Right.
Maybe not even that much. I don't know.
Yeah. No.
I tell you, I've got a bad head, and I thought I had maybe I laid it down right here. I nearly carry a handkerchief with me.
Yeah.
Sinuses and stuff. But
Now, what was your granddad's name?
Lee Blankenship.
Lee. Okay.
Alan Lee.
All right.
And everybody called him just Lee. And him and my dad went and bought me I don't know, I was 5, maybe 6, real small.
Yeah.
And for Christmas, I had got a red wagon, a rider red wagon, you know, big one.
Mm-hmm.
And they went and bought me a goat off of some people back over there, the Baskets.
Okay.
And bought me a big old wether. And my dad made me a set of harness for that goat and put shafts in that wagon.
Mm-hmm.
When we first moved back here, we had a blacksmith shop up here.
Okay.
And I mean, my dad and granddad could, well, I thought they could make anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, they fixed this wagon up, and it was a mile from we had a mile, half section's what it was. And I could get on that wagon, go up to my granddad's, get a sack of feed or something, 2 sacks maybe, put up on that wagon and climb up on top of it. Back home I go, boy. That goat would pull that wagon now.
Yep.
That's that blooming refrigerator, and if y'all could fix it, I would give you a Yankee dime.
So you talked about what, when your family came back here to sharecrop and such.
Well, when we come back, we come back and bought this blacksmith shop
Okay.
up here in town. And my dad and my granddad run my granddad, he come from over here around Pecan Gap someplace to
Okay.
Soper, and my dad and mother had went to Rotan to pull bowls probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, they bought this blacksmith shop, and we stayed in it. We may have stayed in it 2 years. I don't remember.
Right.
You know, kids 3, 4, 5 years old, time don't mean nothing to them.
Mm-hmm. So you talked about living up at Atlas. Just kind of give us an idea of what part of the county that is.
That is north of the Y out here.
Okay.
Well, no, let's come back 2 miles. The oak trees was right out here 2 miles.
Okay.
Across Bochita Creek.
Yeah.
And we turn north there, just on the hill past the oak trees, and go north up there 2 miles.
Okay.
And it was in the central part of the the county.
Okay.
We
So you mentioned that y'all grew crops, raised cattle, had the blacksmith shop. Anything, ran the little tractor? Any other thing that y'all did that helped support the family, or?
in 41, I'm thinking that's close to right. My dad went over here and went to work on Denison Dam.
Okay.
Driving a uke over
Yeah.
there, hauling dirt, and well, we just semi kind of broke up farming then, because he was making good money at that, and he went from there when that job went to playing out. He went from there to Borger, Texas, and went to work for Huber Carbon Company.
Okay.
And Huber Carbon Black, and then he left there and went to California, and we went down around Brawley to start with, and working in the hay,
Right.
alfalfa hay, and then we went up to Woodland, and we went to baling hay, and bought some old balers, and we was doing contract baling, really.
Right, right.
If you want to,
Yeah.
like if you want to use those,
Mhm.
but we owned the balers and the farmers or ranchers, they did everything. They cut the hay, raised it, cut it, and raked it, and all we done was just go in there and bale it.
Right.
And sometimes we hauled it.
Right.
But,
Those old square bales.
square bales, 3-wire bales,
Yeah.
weigh about 150, 60 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was 14 years old, something like that, 12, 14, I could pick one of them 150-pound bales of hay up. I was a big boy for my age,
Right.
and I was stout. I could pick one of those bales of hay up and throw it up on the back end of a truck.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And gosh, I couldn't even budge one end of it. Hope I never hauled another bale of hay in my life.
Yep. Were there any other children in your family?
There's 7 of us.
7. Okay. So let's hear about them.
I've got 3 sisters and 3 brothers and myself, and I've got pictures in there. If that would help y'all any way in the world, of my mother and my daddy and my 3 sisters and my 3 brothers and myself, all hanging on the wall in there. I'd be glad to show it to you.
Okay. So, who was the oldest, youngest?
I was the oldest.
You were the oldest.
And my baby sister is just 9 months older than my daughter,
Okay.
and my daughter is 72 years old, and and my baby sister she'd be 73,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and from March to December difference in their age.
Right.
You know, they was close. All of them's dead, but my baby sister and one about in the middle of my sisters and myself.
Okay.
I had one brother, my baby brother. He got his neck broke in Vietnam.
Oh goodness.
And the last 43 years that he lived, that was the extent of his movements. He painted that picture right there for me with his teeth.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Wow.
he had the paint thing, a big jigger, and he'd set it here, and somebody put that brush in his teeth, and he'd reach over there and get his brush like
Yeah.
the color of paint and all they want.
Mm-hmm.
And he painted that picture there for me.
That's amazing. That's
And money wouldn't buy it.
no, not at all. Not at all.
Oh, money wouldn't buy it.
So when y'all were young, what kind of things did y'all do in your spare time, you and your brothers and sisters?
Well, I guess we was just kids. I don't know. When we was really young, we always had chores. You
Yeah.
know, even after we quit farming, well, my dad and all thought that we should still have chores,
Right.
and we worked all our life. I got my Social Security card at 12 years old, and I guess the year I was 12, my dad and I made 2 hands.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big boy, and I could, on them old 4-man hay balers, I could feed about 50 bales as fast as a man.
Right.
And then my dad, he was awfully stout, and he could feed his 83 bales to the roll, and you're supposed to feed a roll. Four men over there going.
Right. Yeah.
and each man fed a roll of 83 bales, supposedly, and then we'd change, and I could feed about 50, and my dad and I would take the front end of the tractor, the feeding and the driving and all, for two, for a roll.
Right.
And then we swap with the guys that was taking the back end of the baler, tying and the poking for their rolls of wire, and I could make my part. Couldn't now. Don't think I could do it. Almost fell in one of those balers one time, and I come that close. My dad had ulcers real bad, and he was real sick, and all he done was just drive for us anyway. But we baled as much hay as the other baler. We had two balers at the time, 4 good baler men on the one baler, and I guess we wasn't bad ourselves.
Yeah.
We had 2 boys. We had my cousin. He was about a year younger than I was, and he wouldn't do anything but poke wire. And this other old boy, he tied and fed and everything like I did. He was about right at a year older than I was, and we'd bale just about as many bales every night as bale that hay at night out there.
Right.
And we'd bale about as much as they would, and my dad drove for us. My mother went out that morning. We had a field, and the hay was real thin. And she'd go out when she could, and drive for us.
Right.
Us 3 boys. And we was full-blood teenage boys. We aggravated the foo out of her. Absolutely like to drove her nuts. And we stopped and changed, and I climbed up on the table to feed that hay, and I went to whooping on the table and telling her to give me some more hay, and the hay was so thin, and I could just take one hand and keep it fed, and she finally you could push her the farthest, and she'd break like that.
Yep.
And she broke, and she reached over and pulled that old tractor down in 4th gear, and she didn't go the distance between me and this lady here. I done forgot your name. I'm sorry. I'm terrible bad on names, but the hitch broke on that tractor.
Oh, okay.
And when it did, it hit the ground, and that baler just stopped all at once. Well, it throwed me over in that table where that old Chinaman was just going right up and down this side.
Yeah.
It was going right up and down my side. I could feel the wind from it, and I fed the block and fork and everything else through that baler, and I couldn't get up. And them boys that was on the back end, they jumped up there and caught hold of me and pulled me out. Eventually, I might have wobbled around and got on in under that Chinaman, and it may have sucked me on in there. I don't know, but they pulled me out. The good Lord was with me.
Yep.
The good Lord has been with me several times in my life, and He is with me every day of my life now. He is. I'm a firm believer in the good Lord.
Could you tell us some more about the school that you went to?
Well, it was a 2-room schoolhouse, and Bass, I almost called his name. Him and his wife, they had a little house there that they stayed in, and his wife taught one room, and he taught the other room. and he taught the. Now, if I'm remembering right, it was like the first, second, and third, maybe fourth grade, and then he taught the fourth, fifth, sixth grade.
Right.
I think it only went
Okay.
to the sixth, and then you had to come to Soper
Okay.
to get
Yeah.
anyhow. It might have went to the eighth,
How long did you go to school?
to the 10th.
Till the 10th?
I quit school in the 10th grade and got married when I was 17 years old. My wife was 15 that day.
Okay.
We lived together for 51 years and 4 months. And neither one of us had any education at all. I mean, just schooling.
Right.
She quit in the 10th grade also. And we bought this little old B&E grocery up here later in life. I mean, my Lord, I run around all over the country, everywhere trying to make a living.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we bought this little old B&E grocery up here and run it for little over 30 years, and made us a good living. And
What's the earliest thing that you can remember? That's a tough one, I know.
that's a hard one.
Yeah,
That's a
it
hard
is.
one. I guess some of my earliest memories would have been on the farm. Well, I know they would have been on the farm,
Mm-hmm.
and it's killing hogs and that my goat that they bought me. I had a 1x6, and I just set it up to the gate, to the fence,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd go up that 1x4 and jump off, 1x6
Yeah.
and jump off, and I'd do the same thing when I got ready to put him back in the corral. And my mother had a climbing rose. That's one of the first things I probably really remember. That was the prettiest thing. It covered the whole end of the house. It was beautiful. And that goat started at the top leaf
Oh.
there, and he ate that rose bush plumb in the ground.
Oh my
He didn't
goodness.
stop till he got it eat off level with the ground.
Wow.
But, my mother just hated that goat. And
Yeah, I can see that.
I was just a kid. I loved it. My sister, she was 3 years younger than I was. And she liked the goat, but she liked to get in a wagon, and
Mm-hmm.
there ain't no telling how many miles that goat pulled us in that wagon.
Yeah.
A bunch. And after I guess I was about 6 or 7. I was pretty young. Well, my dad traded for me a little Choctaw spotted horse.
Right.
And he just had an old big, what we call well ropes back then,
Mm-hmm.
big old rope. And he put that around that little old pony's neck. And back over here in the Forks of Boggy, and them guys like to had him nearly starved to death.
Mm-hmm.
And I never will forget that horse. He just looked like it was a tassel for him to walk. He was
Right.
so skinny and had his head down that rope or pulling down on his neck. But I put him in that corral, and I went to throwing that yellow deer corn to him.
Mhm.
It didn't take me too long until he was still a stud horse.
Yeah.
And it didn't take me too long until I couldn't handle him.
Oh, okay.
Really, I couldn't make him do what I wanted him to do. And so I rode that horse from over there by Atlas to out here by Kent. It was the summer months,
Mm-hmm.
and they was baling hay. Thrashing. They was thrashing oats is what they was doing.
Okay.
And the thrashing crew come in at noon, and it's about, give or take, 6 miles across there, seven maybe, I don't know. And when they come in at noon, well, Shorty Stillwell, he castrated that horse, and I crawled back on him, and I rode him on. Of course, he told me to not ride him past, not ride him or nothing like that. Hot, it was hot weather, and I remember there's some girls lived, 2 of them. Well, I didn't know how to tell the girls what we'd done, and I rode up in that. But then that horse had, blood was plumb up to the top of his back and down his sides, you know. And they like to have a fit when I rode up and that horse was all bloody.
Mm-hmm.
But lots of things that happened.
Would you know what your family lineage might be? Are y'all German, Irish, Choctaw?
Well, I am. My grandmother, my granddad was almost a full-blood Irishman. He really looked Irish.
Right.
And my grandmother was, she claimed a lot of Choctaw Indian, and then my dad, of course, was Choctaw and Irish.
Right.
And my mother, she was had quite a bit of Dutch in her.
Okay.
I don't know how much.
Yeah.
Now. I know.
Now, what was your grandmother's name?
R Blankenship.
Okay.
It was Allie Salmon. You know, before she married.
Right. Right.
And then on my mother's side, I don't know, she was married to a Newton, and I think he may have had quite a bit of Black Dutch in him.
Right.
Maybe. And my grandmother was, I think, well, she claimed to be quite a bit of Indian and all, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't even have a picture. And I got one, but I turned a barn, but I don't have it.
Right.
I don't have it framed.
Yeah.
But my mother's side of I've got a picture of my dad's mother and daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed with them a whole lot after I got bigger. Well, I guess I did when I was young too, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, but when I got bigger, well, I stayed with them. I'd come back to Oklahoma and go to school. And from California, my parents would stay out there in California.
Did anybody in your family speak any other languages besides English?
There wasn't many of us could speak English. we all kind of spoke our own language.
Oh, yeah.
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay. Did your family have any special family traditions around Thanksgiving, Christmas, or anything like that y'all would do?
Until my mother and dad died, almost every holiday, we gathered at my mother and daddy's house. I don't have it out. I don't know where it's at, but I've got a picture of us one Christmas where there was 30. You don't want me to tell a story? 30 plus.
Right.
On the fireplace over there, south of Boswell. My sister and her husband from California, they had 3 children, and they come down, and it was ice storm on. They didn't have no water. They didn't have no heat, no nothing else over there. And my brothers and brother-in-law, we bought them a king heater, and we put it in front of that fireplace, and they melted the snow and the ice down on that thing, and they cooked on it, and they, you know, I think it was 2 weeks of it there that they didn't have water and electricity and things. It was a long time, and but they enjoyed themselves. I mean, we've always enjoyed being a family. My family now, I'm down to one daughter, one granddaughter, one great-granddaughter, one great-great-grandson.
Okay.
And that's all I got. Well, of course, I got the in-laws, you know.
Yeah.
But we have supper together. I'd say 3 out of 5 nights of the week we have supper together.
That's good.
And my grandson and granddaughter both is teachers here at Soper, and they've got they both got doctorate degrees.
Right.
And he's a superintendent, and she's she's everything.
That's great. That's great.
She made a, well, she I think she, a lot of home economics, you know. I don't know, and library, I know that librarian pays her extra and everything else. But she's a librarian, and my great-granddaughter, she teaches up here, and her husband teaches up here.
Oh my.
All of them teaches here at Soper. And
what's your daughter's name?
my daughter's is Clarice, Rhonda Clarice. Well, it's Rhonda Clarice McClure now. We're going to leave the Blankenship out of it and just call her McClure. But Rhonda Clarice McClure. She lives 3 miles out here, and not over 3 days. Anyway, all of her life, I have seen her. I've seen her all of her life, every day, you might say.
Yeah.
And my granddaughter, she was born, well, she was born to Paris, but I mean, well, her and Clarice both was born over there, but I've seen them just now on every day of their life.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And I intend to until they start shoveling dirt in my face.
Now, you didn't tell us what your wife's name is.
Eulalia Grace. It was Eulalia Grace Blankenship Self. Or Self Blankenship.
Yep.
I got it swapped. Y'all excuse me.
That's all right. So did she live around nearby, or?
Her dad had a sawmill out here just this side of Boggy Bridge.
Right.
And she lived here in town. Well, 1 block over from Main Street, and then 2/3 of a block up. She lived there all of her life, and I've known her all of her life, and she had come to the house. Her and my sister was even friends, and she'd come to the house and with my sister, and first one thing and another, and I got up where I sure did like the girls. I ain't gonna lie about it, I did.
Yep.
And no, I've seen Soper, the streets of Soper, Saturday evening, plumb full of people, 1,000 people maybe in the streets of Soper.
Wow.
And they'd have a drawing on groceries, and they'd have maybe a $2 box, and a $3 box, and a $5 box of groceries.
Yeah.
Now it was that $5 box of groceries was a big box of groceries. but they'd had that drawing. There was 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess there was 4 stores in town, grocery stores and all, and they would they'd just get. I don't know really for sure how they donated to put in those boxes. They could have put in. They could have put in goods, or they could put in money and bought it. Or
Right.
I can't answer it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But lots of times I've seen from the railroad track down here to the top of the hill up here, there would be wagons and teams and horsebackers tied up in the streets, just full of people. I'm talking about 1,000 people or so.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about just 2 or 3. I'm
Right.
talking about a bunch. But my wife, she was born in. Well, I think she was born actually in Boswell.
Okay.
And anyway, they had a doctor over there, and but I met her up here, and we was having a dance. So boy, she's 14 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
We danced out through that kitchen, move everything out of the kitchen, or
Yeah.
dance, at the house. And I danced around there, and we had some mistletoe hanging up. So boy, I made sure I danced her over under that mistletoe, and I bent down, and she was a short lady, and and I really was laying a smack on her, and I glanced up, and there her daddy was standing looking at me. But there's another girl that was along our ages. She run over there. She saved me, because she run over there, and he was standing right out of the door, and we had mistletoe hanging on that door too. And she run over there and just grabbed him and kissed him real big, and it kind of, took the ice off of me.
Yep.
But I guess that was really that probably was really the first night that I had ever went with her.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of went together a little bit that night, and of course, there was give or take 6 cars in Soper.
Okay.
There wasn't no cars in Soper,
Right.
and you had a choice. You could either walk or you could ride a horse if you went anywhere, or go in a wagon.
Yep.
This friend of mine, John Ferguson, y'all may know him. He's dead now. But anyway, he and I, we was just big old boys. And we went and my granddad had bought a place out here, and it had an old buggy on it. And we took that old buggy and put some cultivator wheels on it, and took us some big old tow sacks, I believe, and put over the seats and fixed that buggy up, made it pretty nice. And he had an old gray mare, they did, an old gray mare up there. And we hooked her to that buggy. Well, we could fill that buggy up better than we could have filled it up with a Cadillac automobile full of girls.
Yep.
Now, we didn't have no problem with the girls with that buggy. They thought it was nice,
Yep.
Thought it was nice. But when we grew up, well, John and I always worked together a lot, and we'd go cut a rick of wood, split it, put it on a wagon or buggy or something, and haul it to town, carry it into these old people's house, and everything, fixed it nice for them. $3. That give us $1.50 a piece.
Yeah.
And we had a movie here in town at that time, and we could go to the movie and buy popcorn and Coke. I think it was a nickel a piece. It wasn't very much. But anyway, then after the movie was over, we could go over to my grandmother's. My grandmother was running a cafe up here at that time. And we'd go over to my grandmother's, and we'd eat ice cream or whatever,
Right.
you know, and listen to the jukebox and dance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's about all we had to do is to dance. We didn't have. If we went to Hugo, we didn't get to go very often. We couldn't go to Hugo unless you hitchhiked.
Right.
And I hitchhiked I hitchhiked a bunch of times, but I hitchhiked one time and I caught a man right down on the other end of town here. He had a new car and he scared me to death. He was drunk and he was driving that thing. Of course, 80, 90 miles an hour scared you to death.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it
we
would.
was used to 10 miles an hour.
Yeah. See, I never knew there was a movie theater here in Soper until just now.
Yes, there was a theater. It's not, the building is not actually there or nothing. Between the tornado and people just letting it go. See, there used to be, there was 2 banks in Soper.
Okay.
I've got check stubs on them and stuff.
Yeah.
On the banks, and we had 2 banks in Soper, and a lot of times it's 2 restaurants or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother had the going restaurant, I guess.
Right.
And we had, I guess, about 5 grocery stores is the most we ever
Really?
had. See, we had the Maloney's and the Lee's and the Rootens. And I can't think really,
Yeah.
but it was 4 or 5 we had.
Right.
Yeah. And a dry goods store, a big, nice, sitting right on the corner where this service station is now.
Yeah.
Miss Butler had a nice dry goods store there.
Mm-hmm.
And you could get, I guess a woman could go in there and buy nearly anything she needed.
Yeah.
But we couldn't go to Hugo. After I went in the store, well, I had both feet operated on at the same time. And that's not really the thing to do but they cut the arches into, both feet and taking the wedge out of them, and a double hernia at the same time, all at the same time. And Mr. Cross, he was an elderly, wintertime, he was an elderly man and a wonderful person. And he hitchhiked to Hugo and bought me I've still got a thick pair of wool socks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to keep my feet warm, because he just thought that.
Yeah.
Well, he thought I had to have them.
Right.
And I appreciated him.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciated his thought more than anything else.
That's right.
I went in that little old store up there, and of course I knew everybody in the country anyway, and this lady would bring us, my wife and I. When I say we, I mean,
Right, yes.
I mean the both of us. She was just as much as me. But they'd bring us a cake or they'd bring us a pie.
Right.
And some of them knew that I liked poke salad and wild onions and stuff like that. I'm an old country boy.
Yep.
And this one lady up here, well, I had one that lived across the highway there that go dig them onions was really wasn't able. They wasn't. They was too old for it.
Right.
But they'd bring me chocolate fried pies. I had lady up here, she's still alive. But, well, I went with her a little bit when we was kids.
Yeah.
And every Christmas she'd cook us a applesauce cake. Fresh apple cake is what it was.
Yeah.
Good Lordy mercy. And she'd bring it to that store still hot.
Yeah.
Of course, there was no problem. I cut it when she brought it.
Oh, yeah.
But this little old town, it's unreal. If you're up a going good, everybody in town will kick you.
Mm.
But if you're down for any reason, everybody in town is there to pick you up.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, for instance, that store caught a fire one evening about 2 o'clock
Yeah.
in the center and burnt the whole center section out of it. I had men and women to come in there, and the women was dressed nice and hairdos and everything else, and they covered all them goods up in that store and cleaned them up. And the first one thing, and those men stayed in there until we cleaned all of the debris out of there and tied electricity in.
Mm-hmm.
And I had power, and the next morning, it happened about 2 o'clock in the evening, and the next morning at 8 o'clock, I opened the store for business.
Oh, my goodness.
And
Wow.
I could sit and look at the sun.
Yeah.
I mean, it had a whole top out of it. I could look at the sun, and they come in the next morning, and they was about, give or take, 6 of those women.
Yeah.
And they come in and they just absolutely washed and wiped and fixed every shelf and every good, everything in that store.
Yeah.
And cleaned it up, clean as that table is there. That table might not be very clean because we've been playing dominoes on it. But clean as that table though.
Yeah.
And there was some more men come in, and we rewired that old store, and that the next day, and I was open for business.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing was on fire, and some of our hoodlums here was on the top of that store, barefooted in short breeches,
Yeah.
barefooted, with a water hose trying to put it out.
Huh.
I mean, they was,
Yeah.
they was,
Yeah.
you know, they was, I guess you'd want to say lower class.
Mm-hmm.
And, but if there was one thing gone out of that store that wasn't paid for, I don't know what it would have been.
What year was this?
Along about 80 something,
Okay.
in the 80s.
Right.
And I mean, the people just been great to me, you know.
It sounds like they have, yes.
Yes, sir. They've been. Of course, I've tried to help them as much as possible.
Yeah.
And but it's, you know, the Bible says, "Do unto others as you wish to be done unto." And so, you know, that's a good thing to practice.
Yes, it is.
Good
Yes,
thing
it
to
is.
practice. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Oh, yeah, we got lots
You're
more.
gonna ask a question. I'll hush and let you
No,
ask questions.
we're fine.
Yeah, I can hush and let him ask
okay.
questions, can't I?
What does the JR in your name stand for?
Junior Ray.
Junior Ray.
See,
Okay.
they didn't even have sense enough to name me. They get, well, my dad, he probably quit school, give or take 3rd or 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
My mother May I went up to the 5th or 6th grade, you know,
Right.
something. Well, they didn't have any education either,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't think that we needed any education. I guess I don't know.
It just wasn't a priority at the time.
Well, education didn't mean that much back,
Right.
75 years ago. I'm
Yeah.
not how
But
long.
both of my parents stopped after 9th grade, so I understand.
Yeah. Well, I quit in the 10th, and my wife, she finished the 10th,
Mm-hmm.
but she didn't.
Now, did you just have the one daughter?
The one daughter, that guy that just
Yeah.
brought this card in there to me, well, he's my son-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
and they had one daughter. I had one daughter, and they had one daughter, and their daughter had one daughter.
Hmm.
And I mean, they just ain't many of us.
Yeah.
There ain't many of us.
Now, what year was your daughter born?
In 53.
53. Okay.
I hope I remember. She's 72 years old.
All right.
Figure that out.
Here come the lengthy ones. Sorry. Okay. Here's where you get to talk to us about historical events that you can think of that were really important during your lifetime. World War II, Korea, Vietnam, major things.
Vietnam, my brother,
Yeah.
he was killed. Well, he wasn't killed in the war. He lived 43 years afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
but he was paralyzed, and he'd been to Vietnam and got wounded, picked up some shrapnel, and they sent him back to the States, and he volunteered to go back.
Mm.
And when he went back, well, they was on a maneuver, and they come up to a creek, and he said you couldn't believe how nasty you got.
Mm-hmm.
And they come up to a creek and a river, and they was cleaning up. Half the platoon and sit and watch while the other half cleaned up.
Right.
And he was platoon sergeant. I don't know what he was really, but anyway, he was letting he was last,
Yeah.
getting cleaned up, and he dove into that water. He didn't dive. He told me, he said there was a bank about something like 3 or 4 foot tall, and he just bailed off of it and hit something in that water.
Oh, goodness.
And they took him out to that hospital ship. I can't even remember the name of it. And kept him there and flew him from there back to Oakland
Mm-hmm.
and California. And I don't know. I'll tell you something that we had in Soper that was kind of historical to me, that I
Okay.
really, and we had a depot right over here
Mm-hmm.
up until I was 25 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm grabbing numbers really.
Right. Right.
But we had that depot over there, and a dinky run through here cost you $1.25, I believe it was,
Okay.
to ride it from here to Hugo.
Right.
It run all the way from Ardmore to DeQueen, Arkansas. I believe
Yeah.
that was the distance it run. And I mean, that was I thought it was a pretty interesting.
Yeah, that would be. That absolutely would be.
I've got a picture someplace of me standing down there with this girl. She was dead now. I wasn't grown, but I thought I was too. I thought I was grown, but I had a pair of khaki pants on, and I had them rolled up to halfway to my knees, and a Levi jumper on,
Mm-hmm.
and my shirt tail out with that Levi jumper on, And I thought I was dressed fit to kill. You know. Of course, you never have seen me too many times without jeans on.
Right.
Even these old shorts here's got they're jean shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And,
You mentioned a tornado.
the tornado, I wasn't here at the time the tornado hit.
Okay.
It happened in 58.
Okay.
And I hope I'm telling the truth. But anyway, it cleared the west side of the street up here, flattened it, you might say, and the other side it didn't hardly do anything to it. I mean, it just,
Yeah.
and that old building that I owned up there was just an old tin building, a metal building,
Right.
and it blew a couple of sheets of sheet iron off of it, but it didn't tear it up.
Huh.
But those big brick buildings and things, it tore them up, tore
Really?
them to the ground.
Mm.
And I think it went, I mean, it set down right at the highway here and went north. And it cleared pretty well to the top of the hill up here,
Yeah.
5 blocks.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
And then it riz and went out there here about 2 miles, I guess, and set down some more.
Okay.
And there was a tornado before that hit. It got the steeple on a Baptist church, but that was back in, I believe it was 40,
Okay.
or in the 40s.
Right.
In the 40s. But it got the steeple on the Baptist church and a house or two in town,
Mm-hmm.
it bothered. But it wasn't near as bad as that one in 58.
Did you do any military service?
No, I was not. I was in Houston, and I was a married man with a woman, with a wife and baby. And I got a classification from the service, and I was 1A. And so I went and it told me to go talk to my local draft board and this and that and something else, and I went and talked to them. Don't mean a thing in the world, you being married with that baby. I said, okay, when will I be called? And said, you should be called in the September call. So I went and gave a notice at work and moved my family, my wife and daughter,
Yeah.
back to Soper, where they could be here close to their parents.
Right.
Or her parents. And I've worked around here just nearly nothing for, I ain't gonna say 6 months, but for a long time, and I never did hear nothing.
Never did call you in.
And about 5 to 10 years after that, I got a classification 4A. And that's the only 2 times I've ever heard from the draft board.
Huh.
And I don't even know how many years it's been now. Well, since I was 18 years old, you can figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. 72 years, roughly.
So where were y'all living at that time?
When I registered, we was in Woodland, California.
Okay. That's a long ways off from here.
Oh yeah, it was, but that's where my parents and all. And
Right.
And I had 2 brothers that was in the service, but they volunteered.
Yeah.
And 2 of us never did. I don't know whether my other brother, he was younger than I was, and I really don't know for sure if he ever got any classifications or anything else. You know, service didn't bother me, and so I didn't bother them.
Yeah. Do you remember the moon landing?
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that. Everybody everybody just about remembers that moon
Yep,
landing.
that's for sure.
Everybody. And I got a niece that lives across the street over here. She's got a big old telescope,
Yeah.
and she watches the stars and the
Oh.
moon and all constantly.
Okay.
And I don't know. I never did have time for all that stuff. I had to work.
Yeah.
That would be
Soper
nice.
used to have 4 or 5 gins in it. There was a cotton farming country.
Yes,
you know,
it was.
and they raised lots of cotton and stuff. But okay, what else could you?
The blacksmith shop, where was it located? Of
The Wilson Griggs'
cemetery? Or-
no,
oh.
the Wilson Griggs' place up here in town. It was a garage actually. It was south of it, right next to it. It's south of the highway. A blocker.
Okay.
I'm just grabbing numbers, you know. But come
Now-
on in.
Now, during what years did y'all run the store?
Huh?
During what years did y'all run the store here?
70. 71 to 02 or 01 or something.
Okay.
I mean, that's just round figures.
Yeah, yeah, but
I mean, that
around
ain't-
30
that ain't
years.
law and gospel, because I can't remember for sure.
Right.
What did the B and E stand for?
Bob and Eulalia. When we went in store business, my sister-in-law and my wife's sister and her husband was in New Mexico, and they wanted to come back to Oklahoma. She was a school teacher, so they went in partners with us on the
Right.
store, and she was going to teach school, and her and Prill was going to split the money of teaching, and Prill was going to work in the store. And I mean, it was just a family deal, you know, no paper, no nothing on it. And they stayed with us 6 months. You know, I don't know how long. But Bob wanted to go back to work, go back to school and make a teacher, and he did. He made a principal up here, Soper, and retired from up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but Prill and I, we loved that store. It was rewarding. It was good. The people was just perfect, and you know, I just loved it, and my wife did too. I remember one time Mr. Stykes come in. We hadn't been in the store very long, and we'd had a hard day. That day we'd really worked hard, and it was closing time, and so we seen him pull up, and there's about this much room behind the counter and the cash register and stuff, you know. And I pulled a stool over there and sat down. We seen him pull up out there, and Prill was just standing there beside me. I maybe kind of leaning on me because she was a wonderful person. But anyway, he come in. He said, "Hello, Mr. Stykes. How are you today?" He said, "It ain't none of your damn business." And her tired. She didn't say a word. She just hushed. I was so proud of her. But she didn't say a word. That old man, he never, after that day, I don't know if he ever made a trip to that store that he didn't bring her something.
Oh.
It may be a handful of radishes, or it may be
Yeah.
something out of the
Yeah.
blood, no telling what. But I guess he just loved her to death, I guess. And he didn't do that to be ugly.
Right.
I believe it with all my heart. He said that just trying to make conversation and all. He wasn't
Right.
mad or nothing. But
You mentioned a the guy that gave you the socks. Are there any other people that you've known in Choctaw County over the years that you want to tell us about? People that just stood out for, who they were, what they did.
Well, of course, dang it, all of them was special to me.
Right.
But Mr. Cross is the one that brought me the socks, and Miss Edge over here, I was just a boy, big enough to kind of want to make a goo-goo eye at the girls, and she'd come to town right pretty after I've done got cleaned up and ready to go on a date, and she would have to. I loved her now. But I'd have to make her a hamburger. But when you make a hamburger, I don't care what, you're gonna stink like a hamburger. And, but then Scott Ferguson, I can name I can just name everybody in town almost that had done something. Mr. Let me think.
Yeah.
This is old timers. Lord. Roy Crossett. He was lived in the upstairs of a town down here. He had I guess he had a lot of money. He had a lot of money for me anyway.
Right.
And he was, my gosh, he was good to me. And my father-in-law, he won the first TV in Soper. And of course, he and I put up an antenna.
Yeah.
Put an antenna pipe, and it was big as square as this. It's a room, that antenna was.
Oh, yeah.
And Mr. Crossett, he went and bought a TV. It was so snowy you couldn't hardly see it. But Mr. Crossett went and bought a TV, and we was the only one that had sense enough to put it up because we had the experience.
Yeah.
We had to go put it up.
Right.
I mean, we was
How many channels did it get?
two.
Two? Okay.
Two got channel 10, channel 12.
Yeah.
And they were just snowy as they could be.
Tell us what you're doing today, these days, nowadays.
Well, see that greenhouse out right out there?
Yeah.
I'm spending a lot of time. The kids got me that for
Okay.
Christmas or something.
Yeah.
And I'm spending lots of time in it.
Oh, yeah,
At
that's
this
nice.
day and time, I don't do much of nothing. I go dancing, was going dancing almost every night, every Saturday night, every weekend. But I've quit going dancing because the dances is played out, there ain't no counting.
Right.
And I keep my own yard mowed, and I keep the lady over here at the beauty shop, I keep her yard mowed, and she keeps me my pedicures.
Right.
And we trade, me and her trade out.
Yeah.
And I raise a garden and keep 2 blocks
Yeah.
cleaned up here. And that's, I've sold all my cows, I got my land all leased out. I just don't do much of nothing.
Right.
Just party stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
hangout stuff.
Well, is there something that somebody that's never been to Choctaw County, you think they should know about this county?
Yes. I can't pinpoint a name, but there anybody out there that's fighting that Dallas and the hustle and bustle in any of these towns.
Yeah.
They should come here and enjoy themselves. I mean, life is real short at the longest. And you don't need to fight it. you don't need to fight it constantly. You need
Mhm.
you need to enjoy yourself. And I quit a pretty good job. I was working for Shell Oil Company out there in Farmington, New Mexico, and heaviest thing I picked up was occasionally I'd have to pick up a 24 to turn a valve off. Or
Right,
something,
right.
But mainly I picked clipboard and a pencil.
Mhm.
That's what I drive that pickup around.
Yeah.
The main thing's what I done. And I quit it and moved. And then all them guys that worked for Shell, of course they was all my friends, but anyway, they could just kill me. They hated me for, no, they didn't hate me, but they hated that I was getting out of that
Mhm.
hustle and bustle
Yeah.
and slowing myself down.
Mhm.
And that don't mean that you don't work down here.
Oh no.
I mean, you work down here. When I moved down here, I bought an old truck, and I'd haul gravel all day and work on the old truck all night. Didn't have no money or nothing else. I mean, it wasn't good.
Mhm.
But we made it fine. But everybody outside of Choctaw County, if you ever cross Muddy Boggy down here,
Mhm.
you're gonna want to cross it again.
Mhm. Yep.
You're gonna want to cross it again. It's sad. I don't know. There's something about it.
Yep. All right. Well, that takes care of the main part of the interview. So we're gonna see if we can look at
We're
some
gonna
pictures.
relax now.
Yes, we are.
And talk about the price
Yep.
of eggs in China.
There you go.